What's good, everybody? What's going on? I'm gonna switch the script up a little bit today. The playoffs aren't really, captivating right now, so I thought I would do a little video on a couple of things, entertainment-wise, that I've been watching. So, the Game of Thrones series finale left a lot to be desired, politely. Um, the way it ended was, I could have thought of 4 or 5 people to be ruler over Bran. Nothing against Bran. He's an important character in the show, and they needed to establish him as a main character, and he was a main character and did his job. But you know, I could have seen Arya on the throne. I could have seen Sansa on the throne, even though she ended up ruling the North. Good for her, but I thought she could have ruled the kingdoms. John would have been a great character. He had a great journey, and going from a bastard to a king would be a great story. Tyrion, all these years he's been advising royalty, and for him to actually have a chance to be a king would have been great to see where he came from. But the fact that they settled on Bran was, underwhelming. They really could have done more than that. The previous 7 seasons have been spectacular, but they left a lot to be desired in this last 8th season. It felt like the episodes were rushed along. It felt like a lot of the storylines were inconsistent, and it just didn't measure up to the other 7 seasons. That being said, it's still one of the best shows, in my opinion, one of the best shows of all time, in my opinion, up until season 8, up until last season. But it is what it is. Stuff rarely lives up to expectations these days, but it is what it is. So you take it as it is and you keep moving. Now, over the past few weeks, since Avengers Endgame came out, there's been a lot. I've been reading a lot and seeing a lot of videos about DC and Marvel. What's the difference, and why is Marvel's fan base more connected to Marvel than DC's fan base is connected to theirs? And in my opinion, it's just a matter of continuity. The two biggest, actually the three biggest icons in the comic book industry are DC characters: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The problem with them is there so many people have played those characters, and they haven't really connected with the audience. Superman. There was a couple of good Supermans. Christopher Reeve was a great Superman, but other than that, Dean Cain, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill, they don't really, endear you or, captivate you as a fan, and they don't connect with the audience, and it's just not, it's pretty much like DC just grabs any old body and says, hey, you want to be Superman? Try this cape on, and they fly him out there, and it just doesn't work. Batman, same thing. There have been a couple of good Batmans. Adam West is the OG. He's the originator, so you have to give him respect. But at the same time, he doesn't really, the show back in the 60s and the movies were corny and over the top, and it is what it is, whatever. They're entertaining for that time period. Michael Keaton was a very good Batman. He played Batman in the first 2 movies in Batman and Batman Returns. Very good. Solid character. They kept it simple, kept it dark but humorous at the same time, which is what Batman is supposed to be. And they moved it along pretty well. They started making a bad turn when they went to Val Kilmer and George Clooney. We're not even going to discuss those movies because they were pathetic. Then we're going to move down to Christian Bale, who's a pretty good Batman. I liked him in those movies. The villains more so carried the movies more than he did, but at the same time, I thought he played the role pretty well. Ben Affleck, I'm not even going to go there. Now they got Robert Pattinson trying to play Batman, which is absolutely ridiculous. I want to see it just to see how pathetic he is. Maybe he can prove me wrong, but I doubt it. He's not exactly superhero material in my book. He's a sparkling vampire, as we all know him to be, from all the Twilight crap that went on years ago. So, And then we have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman actually was well played by Linda Carter in the 70s and 80s, and then by Gal Gadot now. You know, like Wonder Woman was perfectly cast. There have been other people to play Wonder Woman, but you only remember those two characters because that's how you captivate an audience. When you think of a character, you think of one person, or in that case, two people. You know, and that's how Marvel separates themselves from everyone else. You know, when you think of Iron Man, there's been probably 10 people to play Iron Man, but Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. When you think of Thor, there's been, you know, a bunch of people to play Thor. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. You think of Captain America, there's been lots of people to play that character, but Chris Evans is Captain America. And the list goes on and on. Like you go down the list and, you know, Marvel just always hits the mark. Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. And, you know, they keep going. Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland. Very good. The Andrew Garfield experience, I wasn't really a fan of that, but that was a whole nother thing, and I don't have time to get into that today. But, you know, I wasn't a fan of the Andrew Garfield series of Spider-Man. Wasn't a fan. But it's not even fair at this point, you know, how much better Marvel casts their movies and plays their stories out. Because in a superhero movie, we all know the backstories of these people. Like if you read comic books or you just, you know, are a novice and you just watch the movies, you know the background of the characters. Everybody knows, you know, the backgrounds. But to endear your audience and captivate your audience to the point where the character is relatable and you actually feel for the character is something that Marvel has mastered over the years, and DC has yet to do that. So, you know, in my opinion, DC will never catch Marvel. DC has the bigger characters, but they'll never catch Marvel, in my opinion. So, all that being said, you know, that's just my little pop culture couple minutes with y'all today. I'm gonna get back to the sports talk, you know, in the coming days. Hopefully one of these series will get a little more interesting so I can talk about that. But if not, I'll get back at y'all for the NBA Finals and we'll shoot some stuff on that. As always, feel free to subscribe down below. And feel free to follow me on Twitter at PhilGrayson6. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at born_ready79. As always, one love. See you when I see you. Peace.